ProTeam makes the best pool chemicals hands down. There's no competition out there for them. Their chemistry is very creative and is geared towards preventing problems before they happen. So I'm going to go through the ProTeam recommended chemical regimen. Step 1, pool water restart. Pool water restart is pretty essential, especially if you have never drained your pool before and replaced it with fresh water. In fact, it is recommended that every 3 to 5 years you completely drain your pool and refill it. Things can happen to your pool water. If you leave bread out, it gets stale. If you leave the same pool water in there for years and years and years, it can kind of get stale too. It just has all this stuff in it from you adding chemicals and swimming in it over time that it's not good water anymore. So if you haven't drained your pool in 3 to 5 years, it's a great idea to drain all the water out and restart. If you're not comfortable with that, it's a good idea to at least drain 50% and refill that. Step 2, add Supreme Plus. Supreme Plus is an essential additive to your swimming pool. Supreme Plus is a pH neutral mixture of sodium tetraborate. Sodium tetraborate is a powerful algistat. By controlling carbon dioxide in your water, sodium tetraborate naturally suppresses algae. Carbon dioxide is one of the main things that algae needs to breed and reproduce. So by controlling carbon dioxide in your water by using Supreme Plus, you severely cripple algae's ability to bloom. Supreme Plus also acts as a natural scale inhibitor and soil stain inhibitor. In fact, sodium tetraborate is often used in laundry detergents because of its ability to stop calcium scale and soil deposits. The other thing it does is it makes your water feel silky smooth and enables you to use 30 to 50% less chlorine throughout the year. It only has to be added one time every year. The biggest benefit of it is its annual application, because you don't have to worry about it every week. You add it in there and it's done, and you're protected from several different things throughout the year. Step 3, weekly addition of chlorine tablets. No matter which chemical regimen you apply, you're always going to need to use chlorine tablets. There's just no way around it. You're going to want to add ProTeam's high-tech tabs on a weekly basis to your pool at a rate of 1 tab per 8 to 10,000 gallons of water. If you're unsure what that means, then you need to watch our chlorine chemistry school under the resources tab. ProTeam's high-tech tabs are an all-around better pool tab than any tab you're going to buy from any pool store. It has about 8.5% less cyanuric acid in it. It's fortified with borates, so it's adding borates to your pool as you use them, which maintains the level of Supreme Plus. They're also not made with any pastes or glues or cheap binders, so you don't have to worry about high-tech tabs clogging up your chlorinator, clogging up your floating chlorinator, or gunking up your filter. You're going to want to test your free chlorine every 2 to 3 days to make sure that you're holding in between 1 and 3 parts per million. Step 4, weekly shocking. With this chemical regimen, you're going to want to shock at least once a week. So just pick a day, an evening time, and just do it. What shocks do you need to use here? You need to use ProTeam's Power Magic Super Oxidizer and also ProTeam's Shock and Swim. You're going to want to rotate between the two of these. So, one Monday in the evening time, you shock with Power Magic. The next Monday in the evening time, you shock with Shock and Swim, and vice versa. Frequency of shocking should be at least once a week, but there are other times you may also need to shock, such as after heavy usage, after wildlife contamination, or before a heavy rain. Before a heavy rain or after wildlife contamination, you will want to use a chlorine-based shock because you're going to have algae spores introduced. You're also going to have germs and bacteria introduced through the rain and through wildlife. Shock and Swim cannot sanitize, it can only oxidize. However, Power Magic has chlorine in it, so it is able to sanitize. So, Shock and Swim is appropriate for after a pool party with humans, but it's better to use Power Magic right before a thunderstorm or after wildlife contamination. Again, frequency of shocking, at least once a week, after a large gathering, after wildlife contamination, or before a large thunderstorm. Step 5, weekly clarifying with Microfloc Clarifier. ProTeam's Microfloc Clarifier is a great solution to keeping your pool clear and clean of algae spores. Algae spores are small and oftentimes your filter cannot catch them, but by using a microfloc clarifier, you enhance these small algae spores and they become trapped in the filter, at which point you can backwash them out every month. So, microfloc doesn't know the difference between dirt and algae. You will want to microfloc weekly. Microfloc can be added within an hour of shocking. So if you shock on Monday, it's a good idea to also at that time use microfloc clarifier. Step 6, regular pH balancing with muriatic acid. It is essential to balance your pH regularly to ensure the proper appearance of your pool water, prevent scaling, and also make sure that all of your chemicals function properly. Chlorine is a compound called hypochlorous acid, HOCl. And when your pH goes above 8.0, HOCl does a thing called dissociation. HOCl, the hydrogen, the H, breaks away from the OCl. And what you're left with to sanitize your pool is called OCl negative. It's a hypochlorite ion that is only 1% as effective as HOCl at removing bacteria and killing algae. So, your chlorine is considered completely ineffective when your pH goes above 8. It is recommended that you test your pH every 2 to 3 days to make sure it's in between 7.2 and 7.6. It is completely normal to have to add muriatic acid 1 to 2 times a week to correct a high level of pH in the North Texas area. Step 7, enzyme addendum. It's recommended that weekly you use an enzyme and phosphate remover like Pool Perfect Phos for your CV700 to remove organic contamination and keep your phosphates at 0. This is a weekly thing. So if you shock on Monday, you do your microfloc clarifier on Monday, it's a good idea to add your Pool Perfect Phos for your CV700 on Monday as well. This will help to remove organic contaminants and then add a layer of protection against future organic contaminants until the next week when you add some more. Regular use of an enzyme and phosphate remover ensures proper chlorine efficiency and effectiveness. Stay proactive about your pool and minimize the amount of problems that you may experience throughout the season. Thank you for watching, and I hope this video was helpful. Thank you for choosing riverbendpoolsupply.com for all your pool needs.